Hi everyone, this is Heba from My Little Journal, and today I'm going to be working in my disc-bound traveler's notebook. As you guys know, I usually start with one of my Studio Calico traveler's notebooks, which I take apart and then go through it, find the right pattern for my photos, and then I trim it down and add them to discs. I just decided to show you the whole process of how I put a layout together, how I trim it down and add them to discs. It's a really simple process. So I chose the pattern that I want, and now I'm just laying down my photos. I went with different sized photos to fit across both pages. I love this look. I do it all the time. I also wanted to add a big title as well. Again, you guys know I love my big titles. So once I stick down my photos, I'm going to go through my alphas, and I'm gonna stick to actually a little bit smaller alpha, lowercase. I kind of envisioned a title going across all the photos, but I really like this alpha, so I went with it, and things change, and that's okay. I always say this, you can envision something, but once you start creating, go with your gut, and it always turns out perfect. Anyways, I'm gonna use that alpha to stamp summer across the left side, or the photos on the left side of my page. I went with this really beautiful, I think this is the raspberry from the stamp market. Then I'm going to grab a summer stamp set from Studio Calico. I wanted to add a kind of a subtitle to my title. I also wanted to stamp it in black so I can balance everything out because the summer title was very bright. So to kind of mute it down, I went with black ink and I stamped "This Makes Me Happy." And in that stamp set, there was some really cute little circle stamps and an ice cream stamp that just fit perfectly with the theme of my layout. So I went ahead and stamped it on sticker paper, kind of creating my own embellishments. And I'm going to punch it out and trim everything out and use those as layering. I like to stamp some of my stamps on sticker paper because first it adds like a layer to your photos, and it also looks like a sticker, if that makes sense. So if I had these stickers in my stash, I would use them, but because I have a stamp, I'll just make my own. As I said earlier, I have this vision of layers on the right side of my spread. So I went through my stash and I found this pack of leaves from Studio Calico. They're bright, they're beautiful, I love the colors, so I'm gonna use them. I have been really bad at using my stash lately. I was really good at using a whole pack of die cuts on one spread, but I haven't done that in a while. So I really wanted to do that and start using up some of my stash, especially that I moved my craft room recently and I found some really good things in my stash that I need to be using. So anyways, that pushed me to create this layout today and use some of my die cuts. I'm going to go ahead and start layering. As you guys saw, I just went through the pack, tried to see where I'm going to add everything. And then I just grab my double-sided tape and start sticking things down. I'm going to layer the top. I'm going to layer the bottom. I'm trying to balance everything out. They are big die cuts, so I did have to tuck them behind my photo as well. And I say this all the time, this is why I love my double-sided tape. It's really easy to pull up your photo. It will not tear your paper. It works every single time, and it holds your photos in place and your embellishments as well. So it's easy to pull up, but also strong enough to keep everything in place. Anyways, now that I have everything layered, I'm going to grab those stamped embellishments that I created earlier and add those as layers as well to my photos. I'm really liking how everything is coming together. I want to add some stamping, so I go back to that summer stamp from Studio Calico, and I'm going to stamp "Find Me in the Sunshine" on the left side. Again, I'm trying to add some black ink to balance the colors out. It's just such a bright layout, so I need that black ink. I also used one of the stamps from the stamp set to add little floral circles. I think that's what it was. And I used some blue and some of that raspberry from my title. Again, to bring in some of that raspberry from my title, I stamped it on the right side. And I will also grab my favorite little floral stamp from Everyday Explorers stamp it in black, and just scatter it around my layout. So when I looked away from my layout, I felt like that top right corner was very bare and it needed something. I don't know, I felt like I needed a different color. I needed to fill in that space. So I went with my word stickers. I had this really beautiful green word sticker sheet and I just used it, and the words fit perfectly with summer. So I went with it and it really helped fill in that space and bring the eye from the bottom left to the top right. Now that I'm done, I'm just going to journal on one of my palm leaves. I went and trimmed down my layout in half because I'm going to put them on discs. I will punch them out with my arc punch, and then I'm going to grab my disc-bound traveler's notebook, my Peachy binder, to add my layout. Now I get asked about this all the time, if I stick my layouts back to back when I add them in my Peachy binder, and I do. If I do not want to use the pattern on the opposite side, I will stick them back to back, and I don't think I'm going to use this pattern. It's not my favorite, so I went ahead and backed up my layout with it. And I'm just going to add the opposite page and call my layout done. Don't forget, I'm going to be adding all the links for everything I use down in the description box for you. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. And I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye.